where horror lies.
Hey guys, Rob from Georgia here with you. I'm your regular Wednesday evening host here at BodyBags. It is week 415. This is the week when we spend the entirety of it talking about a single year, and so all of us will be dropping vids across this week. Movies from the year 1977, and boy, that is a throwback for me, you know, being that I was born in 1970, of course the year that Dario Argento would release or unleash his bird with a crystal plumage. By 77, of course, I'm a nice young sprite 7-year-old, and sound like I said 70, 7-year-old, just taking in the wonderment that is the 1970s, whether having seen Jaws in 1975, which would just unleash a torrent of films, one which we'll be talking about here in a second, Kingdom of the Spiders, a John Bud Cardos film from 77 and made for TV, and funny, made for USA Network. I just did not realize the USA Network went back that far. So that's kind of weird. I would have just assumed this was a movie I would have seen at night with my family, you know, ABC Monday Night at the Movies, or, you know, whatever that might have been. But, you know, just taking in the 70s, man. Evel Knievel, Space 1999. Of course, Star Wars is unleashed in 77. It's one of the reasons why I love Rob Zombie so much, man. Every time I hear him talk, man, as soon as somebody gets him going on the 70s, man, and he starts saying things that I don't hear anyone else ever talk about, like having a spaceship toy from the show Space 1999. That just stuff gets me going, man. Oh, man, there was some kind of rubber man you pull, I don't know. There's all sorts of toys from the 70s, man. Simon Says, and what was this? Bigfoot was a phenomenon in the 70s, and so I remember one Christmas I got a pair of these crazy Bigfoot feet, and so, you know, of course, in the dead of winter, I would go out early in the morning when it was still dark, and just go ahead and just create Bigfoot feet everywhere, and of course, that always got the ire or curiosity of some of the younger kids who lived where I lived, and of course, I would always get a kick out of hearing them talk about, you know, is there a Bigfoot around here? Because we lived, you know, against a bank, which was a major creek that ran in the area, and so there was nice woods up behind, and so, you know, I was just that kind of kid. But the 70s, man, Evel Knievel, and just, of course, the music, and it's funny, I was, when I was rewatching this, of course, I'm still rolling with the GoodTimes DVD release. This has since been released on Blue, on Code Red released. I think it's about $17.99 on Amazon right now. But and I would say definitely it's worth the pickup on Blue, even if you're hesitant because it's Code Red. It's just it's a great movie. I'll get into that, man. It is a great movie. William Shatner, you know, staying with the 70s here, 77, right? William Shatner, man, what a freaking cool role he's got in this movie. Of course, you know, 66 to 68, I think he was in, of course, Star Trek TV series, right? And then in the first couple years in the 70s, he was in or gave voice to the animated, like many of them did, or maybe all of them. And then, so, you know, by 77, man, he's only a couple years removed from, or will be starring, and of course, reprising his role as Captain James T. Kirk in, of course, Star Trek The Motion Picture, Robert Wise production. He'll jump into the old nature run amok subgenre film, complements, of course, Jaws, right, which just opened up the gamut there in 75. Not only with the summer blockbuster, but just with, you know, movies like, I remember as a kid watching, you know, Grizzly, Piranha, you know, there was tentacles, there was no shortage of nature run amok type films. And Kingdom of the Spiders, man, is no different. Now, I'll say this, man, made for TV and having revisited, even though the transfer, it's a standard full screen, so the sides are cut off like this. Not traditionally, we're used to like this, right, but it's like this. The transfer isn't the greatest. It's GoodTimes, you know. I mean, you know, it is what it is. But I was taken back by just the practical effects. Now, this guy, Jeffrey Varley, I think his name is, probably getting it wrong. I mean, he would do things like The Blob, eventually Ghost Town, Prison, things that I would watch, in the 80s and stuff. So I think, his hand is one of a few that is noticed well, because if you see, okay, basically what you got here basically is we got spiders, right? This small little town in Verde Valley, Arizona. It all begins with this, with the Colby family, who are raising livestock and getting ready for this county fair, and they have put everything into their prized calf, who suddenly becomes sick. Now they'll call, William Shatner's character, Rack, who's a veterinarian. They'll call him to, take a look at the calf, and once he takes some blood samples, he sends them off to Flagstaff. Word comes back actually in person by Tiffany Bolling, who will play Diane Ashley. I think Ashley is her name. She'll be like the arachnologist or whatever, scientist who will come and try to convince them that they have got a major issue going on with spiders. The venom apparently is 5 times as toxic as normal venom. And of course, we're talking tarantulas, right? So it all kind of springs, for whatever reason, the Colby farm, and then begins to spread out. And this is a problem that begins seemingly small, but in very, very quick order will grow to the point of consuming and taking over the town. If there's ever been a movie done of recent that really reminds you of Kingdom of the Spiders, it is Arachnophobia. It is very, very similar in plot, narrative, and structure and stuff. It's very similar. But I'll say the practical effects, like I was going to say, are insane. Every time you see like an aftermath effect of someone having already been succumbed to the spiders in the venom and being cocooned up or webbed up, whatever, it is creepy, man. It is unnerving. Even, it's funny, you get, excuse me, towards the end of the film, when seemingly the entire town is being turned upside down as the spiders have invaded the town. No one can get away, man. These spiders are freaking everywhere, and they've become, apparently because of pesticides being sprayed, have become overly aggressive. So unlike normal tarantulas, they are, basically looking to attack in large numbers, larger food source. So you go from basically dogs, cats, whatever, to the cattle, to eventually people. I have to say, cattle. The opening scene, when the couple spiders converge on the calf that Colby will take to William Shatner's character. When you first see the cow in the field, only some of you may get this right away, but I'm telling you, the first thing that hit me was Adam Hart Mother from Pink Floyd, that classic cover album of just the cow there in the field grazing. So I mean, a lot of throwbacks here. For me as a kid, I watching these movies all the time as a family. Of course, I was just a young kid in the 70s, but as 80 hit, become a teenager, start to get close to becoming a teenager. Star Wars is in full bloom, the trilogy. But Animals Run Amok, or Nature Run Amok films are, there's no shortage, man. Squirm, I mean, there's Frogs, The Day of the Animals. I mean, yeah, there's just freaking tons, man, tons. And this one's cool. And this one has got a very, 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 without really spoiling it if I can, it's really got a pretty morbid end. But I'll say there's a matte painting involved. I'm sure it's a matte painting. And I'll say, man, it is effective as it all could be, because, man, when this movie comes to its rolling conclusion, it is unnerving, man, because I think if a town ever really, truly, in a terrifyingly way, succumbed to something like this is kind of like, I think, how it would happen. If it was a small enough town, cut off from the outside, I don't know if it would win necessarily. Most of our movies always have a happy ending. This one does not have a happy ending, but it might be a realistic ending, which is frightening to consider or think about. That these things can happen, man. They can happen. Whole towns can just be swept away by, floods, nature, whatever it is. And, as soon as a hurricane rolls in off the sea, nature rolls right in with it. And, we've heard these stories, with Katrina and a lot of them. Of course, crawl, right? Who hasn't seen the alligator flick from Aja, right? I mean, that sort of, is, kind of that thing we're talking about. Nature Run Amok. It is, yeah, Kingdom of the Spiders. I would say it is definitely worth the pickup. It is a good movie, especially if you like William Shatner. Oh, and the guy who plays Colby, Woody Strode, was one of Frank's henchmen in that movie. Sergio Leone's How the West Was Won. Yeah, right over there. Anyways, I knew I recognized him from somewhere. Man, he's freaking outstanding as freaking Colby, and his wife does a good job too. The mayor, of course, you got the whole Jaws thing going on with, can't we just pesticide the crap out of the hillside? I mean, you just got a lot of Jaws interrelated stuff going on. This is only, 2 years removed? So anyways, this is basically, this is what you're going to get the rest of the week is films from 1977. I'm looking forward to it. Then we can roll into another random week, and by the end, forgive me, I forget what the theme is at the end of the week. We just hit horror comedy. This one is alternative cuts. Almost sure it's positive it's alternative cuts because I'm doing Halloween to the TV cut. So anyways, so we got that to look forward to, right? And then we roll on eventually into October, or September, October, and we're just rolling on. Before you know it, Christmas will be here. So anyways, Kingdom of the Spiders, 1977, a John Budd Cardos film from 1977, starring William Shatner, who is the lead in this, of course, our Captain James T. Kirk, and 1977, man. For those of you who were born up through the 70s, a lot to remember. I know my mind always flies back. Anytime I hear Seals and Crofts' song, Summer Breeze, my mind is automatically catapulted backward to that time in my youth. But TV, Nature Run Amok horror, vintage stuff, William Shatner, can't go wrong here. It's good stuff if you've never seen it. As always, we end these things off with Go Bills.
This is not a dream.